Hi everyone, welcome back to Numerics with Nadia. In today's video, we're going to go over how to add and subtract decimals. So if you haven't watched the first two videos in this playlist yet, please go back and watch those because those are foundational videos, and then you can come back to this one. Alrighty, so let's get into today's lesson. To start off, I'm going to go through two important steps that we can use for either adding or subtracting decimals, but they are very, very key in making sure that we get the correct answer. So first off, we want to determine what numbers are in each place value. Do we have a number in the tens place, ones place, tenths place, hundredths place? We want to just look at what we're given. And then for step 2, we want to make sure that we align those place values. This is the most important part. And once we align and determine all the place values, then we can just add or subtract depending on the question. So let's get some practice in now. We're going to go through a few examples to really learn how to do these steps. We'll go slowly on the first few, and then we will kind of just pick things up once we've really gotten the hang of things. So for number 1, let's do 1.23 or 1 in 23 hundredths plus 0.87 or just 87 hundredths. So let's start off by writing each of these separately so we can really analyze and go through step 1 to determine what numbers are in each place value. So if we start off with the 1.23, we're going to see what is in the ones place, what is in the tenths place, and what is in the hundredths place. So for the 1.23, we know that we have a 1 in the ones place, underlining that with the little blue. We have a 2 in the tenths place, and we have a 3 in the hundredths place. So I've highlighted those in different colors so we can really differentiate them. Now let's move on to the 0.87. Same thing, what is in the ones place, what is in the tenths place, what is in the hundredths place. We have 0 in the ones place, then we have 8 in the tenths place, and we have 7 in the hundredths place. So now that we've gone through step 1 and determined what numbers are in each place value, what I'm going to do is I'm going to write these vertically. It's much easier to align if we write them vertically, and we're going to add. So before we do that, let's make sure that everything is aligned, our ones are aligned, our tenths places are aligned, and our hundredths places are aligned. So now we can go through and add. 7 plus 3 gives us 10. 8 plus 2 plus 1 gives us 11, so we'll carry the 1. Then we have the 1 plus 1 just gives us 2, and the decimal will just drop exactly straight down. So we will get 2.10 or 2 1/10 as our answer for number 1. Now that we've done one in-depth run-through of an adding problem, let's go through a subtracting problem for number 2. For number 2, we're going to have 3.72 or 3 and 72 hundredths minus 0.5, so minus 5 tenths. So here we're going to go through again. We're going to write our two numbers out. We have the 3.72, what is in the ones place, what is in the tenths place, and what is in the hundredths place. For the ones place, we're going to have 3. For the tenths place, we will have 7. And for the hundredths place, we will have 2. Alrighty, now we'll go through and we'll do the same thing with the 0.5. We're going to see what is in the ones place, what is in the tenths place again, and what is in the hundredths place. So for this one, it's easy to see that for the ones place, it's just 0. So we'll write 0 for the ones place. Then moving over after the decimal, we're going to see that in the tenths place, it's just 5, right? So the tenths place is just 5. We'll write that down. What about the hundredths though? I don't see anything there. When there's nothing there, and if it's after the decimal point and after a number, we can just add in a little 0. So our hundredths place will just be 0. And that'll really help us because the 3.72 had something in the ones, the tenths, and the hundredths, right? So now we've filled in the ones, the tenths, and the hundredths as well for the 0.50. So we're going to write it vertically again, and we're going to align everything. And we're going to just subtract like normal. So 2 minus 0 gives us 0, 7 minus 5, 2, 3 minus 0, 0. So we get 3.22 for number 2. All right, you guys, now that we've gone through 2 at a very slow pace, we're going to speed things up. But if you're still confused, feel free to re-watch those first examples and then skip to this portion, because we're just going to assume that we're really comfortable with those first 2 steps in the next few examples that we do. All right, so for the speed round, for number 1, we have 4.206 plus 10.85. And as a good rule of thumb, what I would recommend is putting the larger number on the top. So we have 10, right? So that consists of the ones place and the tens place. So let's put the 10 on top. And now we have to make sure that we line everything up. So we're going to write the 4 underneath the ones place, right? The 0 is in the ones place, but we have a 3-digit after the decimal point. So we will add a 0 after the decimal point to make sure everything's aligned. Once we do that, we can just add like normal. So we put the 0 in, we'll have 0 plus 6 is 6, 5 plus 0, 5, 8 plus 2 will give me 10, carry the 1, we'll get 4 plus 1, 5, and then the 1 comes down, so we get 15.056 for number 1. Now we'll move on to number 2. For number 2, we have 6.98 minus 2.614. So again, we'll put the larger number on top once we stack them vertically, right? 6 is greater than 2, so we'll put the 6 on top, and then we'll adjust accordingly just to make sure that everything's aligned. So 6 only has 2 place values after the decimal point, but the 2 has 3. So above the 4, we'll put in a 0 after the 0.98 just to make sure that everything's aligned. We'll go through, we'll borrow, 10 minus 4 gives me 6, 7 minus 1 gives me 6, 9 minus 6 gives me 3, and 6 minus 2 gives me 4, so we'll get 4.366 as our answer for number 2. All right, you guys, let's move on to number 3 now. Number 3 is going to be a challenge problem, and we're going to do 25.92 minus 18.478 plus 8.164. So we have a subtracting part and an adding part. We're going to start from left to right, so we'll subtract. 25 is bigger than 18, right? So we'll put the 25 on top. And then just like our last 2 examples, we want to make sure that we align everything, right? Align all the place values. So we're going to have to add a 0 again after the 0.92 just to make sure that they're aligned. So we're going to go through, we will borrow. 10 minus 8 gives us 2. We're going to have to borrow again. We will get 11 minus 7 gives me 4. 8 minus 4 gives me 4. Then we have to borrow one more time. We will get 15 minus 8 gives me 7. And then that will be our answer for that first part. We will have 7.442. And now we will add this to the 8.164. So we're going to go through and stack them vertically again. For adding, it doesn't matter as much which one is larger as long as all of the place values are aligned. But our first 2, we get 7.442, and now we'll move on to the adding portion. So when I stack them, I'll have the 8.164 plus 7.442. Everything's aligned. They both have 1 digit in the ones place and then 3 digits after the decimal. So we'll just add like normal. 4 plus 2 is 6, 6 plus 4, 10, 4 plus 2, 6 again, and then 8 plus 7 gives me 15. So after subtracting and adding, our final answer will be 15.606. All right, you guys, thank you so much for watching. Great work today. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. If you need extra help with decimals, feel free to watch the decimal playlist. I also have a playlist on fractions, so feel free to go through the rest of the videos, and I will see you guys next time.